Nestled in the Sonoma Mountains near a geographic formation known as Sears Point, Sonoma Raceway has been a staple on the NASCAR schedule for over 3 decades. Sonoma presents a unique challenge for drivers of big stock cars or trucks. While the 1.99 mile, a 10-turn stock car configuration cuts off 2 slow turns and a half-mile of pavement, there's still plenty of ups and downs and zigs and zags for the drivers to cope with. Keeping the tires and the brakes in good working order while maintaining a competitive pace is one of the biggest challenges these drivers will face all year. Most other road racing classes that compete at Sonoma, including the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Series, SCCA National and Regional, NASA and Vintage use the full 2.52-mile 12-turn circuit, while the IRL, Indy cars, and AMA motorcycle events use a modified 2.22 12-turn road course. This layout, opened in 2003, skips much of the S's and a run from turn 10 to turn 11, the hairpin, for additional safety for motorcyclists, including runoff available in the motorcycle turn 11. The main turn 11 has no runoff and is a very slow corner, similar to the Lowe's hairpin at Monaco. Until it was taken over by Speedway Motorsports in 1996, the facility endured a turbulent history under a variety of names and owners, one of which was even a Hollywood studio. While the circuit opened for competition in 1968 under the name Sears Point Raceway and hosted USAC IndyCar, NASCAR West stock cars, SCCA professional and amateur races, it failed to perform financially and was closed down 2 years later. 1973, the track reopened as a venue for amateur sports car competition on a separate drag strip, drag racing. But it wasn't until 1989 and the arrival of NASCAR's Top Series that the track's prospects truly began to brighten. The $60 million improvement program, begun in 2000, has catapulted Sonoma Raceway into the top rank of American motorsport facilities. Tonight, it's the stars of the Lonestar Racing Truck Series and the Road Rage 115. It's coming up next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to HBR TV. I'm a little under the weather, Steve Singer, here with HBR TV, bringing you the Lonestar Racing Truck Series action from Sonoma Raceway. It is the Road Rage 115. Ambient temperature 70 degrees, 90% humidity, partly cloudy skies. Track temperature currently 109 degrees. We'll have to see if that changes throughout the course of the event. Looking at the current practice times here at the facility. Like Sean Roberts currently the quickest. Surprise, surprise. Minute 19:92, the fast time on the board thus far. Kevin Blue second fast, a minute 20:32. Minute 20:83 for Matt Sisler. Brian Rose up to the fourth position. Minute 20:92. Road racing not really his forte, but something he's certainly worked on and gotten much better at over the course of the past couple of seasons. So expect to see him up there in that top 5 tonight. Drew Blaze, also a competitor out there on road courses. Not his forte either. Again, he comes to us from a dirt background. Has performed very well on the asphalt ovals, but road course racing not too terribly difficult for Drew Blaze as well, as he sits there with the top 5 positions so far. Minute remaining in the session. We do have a 58-lap race here tonight. No full course cautions to speak of. Local yellows only, so it shouldn't be too terribly difficult to get this race in a reasonable amount of time. It's going to be a fun one to watch. Certainly looking forward to it. Again, just under a minute remain in the practice session. Again, I got to admit, once again, I'm under the weather here behind the mic. 3rd time this year, 2nd time with COVID. We're going to get through this one okay. Got the tea going here to help the throat so I don't lose my voice in the middle of all this. But if all of a sudden I disappear and, well, you don't hear me for a moment, I'm just hacking up along. It's fine. Final road course of the season for the LSR Truck Series. Don't see a time for Zach Millett just yet. Is he in the session? He is. He is on track, but has not registered a clean lap as of yet. Practice comes to a conclusion, though. Millett does not take a time officially in the session. We're going to jump right into qualifying. We'll see what kind of time the 315 can lay down. Road course racing, not necessarily where Zach Millett comes from, but does perform quite well there. We'll watch Kevin Blue here as he rolls out onto the speedway. Put his time down. Kevin out of Belton, South Carolina. And Kevin is kind of heading up, really not kind of, 100% heading up the Lonestar Racing GT3 series. Of course, they are the sponsor for tonight's event. It was supposed to be the IndyCar series, but a last-minute change from the IndyCar to GT3. This becomes the new sponsor of tonight's Road Rage 115. Kevin Blue down into the hairpin. This is effectively turn 11. Quick left-hander before they get to the start-finish line to start his lap. That'll be turn 12. At least that's how we're going to classify it here tonight. At the stripe. Oh, where did he go? And he's back. Don't worry. A little connection issue. No worries. So Kevin Blue on his first green flag lap. Oh, and he overdrives the corner. Turn number 2, drives it up into the sand. That's going to negate that lap. Sean Roberts on the speedway. Expect a good time out of him. Also, a regular attendee of the road course events over in GT3. Very well could see a surprise winner here tonight. Again, Millett has a lot of pace at a place like this, but don't forget, he won last week, so he's going to have to go to the back before this one gets underway. So even if he's got pace, he still has to cut his way through the field. Roberts has taken the green on his first lap. Currently, David Ballard, fast time, minute 22:05. Mike Fahey, 22:79. Roberts out of the hairpin. See where the 66 lands on his first lap. Seemed not too aggressive. Sometimes that's faster. Drew Blaze goes top of the board. Brian Rose goes top of the board. Minute 20:01. Roberts just shy. Zach Millett on track has just taken the green flag. Here is your threat for the pole. Again, it was just going to be, if he gets this, would be just a pole in the record books only. He's not going to get the benefit of that, as he does need to go to the rear. He would get the benefits of a better pit stall selection, but not quite starting out front. Again, win penalty to be paid here, regardless of where he qualifies. Interesting, Millett hanging third gear through the S's, not grabbing that fourth gear. Really winding out that Ilmore engine down into turn 11. Roberts updated his time to a 1972. Millett goes 18:04. puts a big gap on P2, 1.6 seconds back to Sean Roberts. Incredible lap time. Chris Goins out there. Chris familiar with some road racing as well. This could be a good opportunity for a solid finish for the 28. First lap for Goins, minute 34. Not one to be happy with. Maybe got an off track there, got off course. Lap 2 for Chris Goins. Minute 21.313. Big improvement from lap 1. Matt Sisler on the track has taken the green flag. Sisler also a common road course racer here in the Lonestar Racing GT3 series. Kevin Blue in the stream chat. Man, I don't know if we want to tell you, but he ran a 17.5 earlier in practice. Good thing he's starting in the back. Sisler's first lap, minute 20.28. Many drivers opting not to qualify. So far, it looks like Bill Martin, Kevin Grettenberger. Kevin Blue doesn't take a time. That's interesting. I don't know if he just gave up on his Q run when he had his issue off track. Jesse Redding hasn't taken a time. Jarrett Woodard, not yet. Chad Martin, Joe Tucker, Matt Minnick. Matt Minnick, admittedly not a road racer. He did point that out. He says, keep an eye on us if you want some entertainment tonight. I think you'll be okay. Bill, it did complete his second lap, was not faster, it was an 18.61. One thing I've seen with these trucks here, very difficult to put the power down without losing the rear end. Kevin Blue talking about the off track. I saw you had the first issue going up the hill. Didn't catch the second one. 119.98 for Matt Sisler. It's going to put him fourth quick for now. Seems that that's going to wrap it up. It's a 10-minute session. We've got 2.5 minutes remaining, so we're going to step aside here, get a break out of the way, and we'll be back after this.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the virtual Sonoma Raceway Lonestar Racing Truck Series Road Rage 115. Your starting grid on the pole position with a lap time of 1 minute 18.049 seconds. It's the 315 of Zach Millett. Again, Millett will have to start from the rear. We'll pull over and go down to the back of the field before this one gets underway. To his outside, the 05 PJ Cox sneaking in there with a front row starting position. The number 05 Monster Energy Ford F-150. Sean Roberts, number 66, the Shenandoah Shine Machine. He'll roll from the third position. Matt Sisler, the number 93, he starts fourth. Brian Rose, the number 89, Holler Boys Racing Track Bar Media Machine starts fifth, with Drew Blaze in the one, starting in the sixth spot. Mike Fahey, the number 19, another Lone Star Racing entry, starts seventh, with the 5 of Matt Daniels rolling from the eighth spot. Chris Goen starts from the ninth position, the number 28, Right Turn Racing entry. David Ballard, the number 90, will start 10th. Justin Johnson, the number 10, will roll from the 11th starting position. Bill Molfeld, the number 911, will start from 12th. Matt Minnick Sr., still says it's the 10. We'll have to get that squared away. He'll start from the 13th spot. Chad Martin will roll 14th, with Kevin Blue, the number 54, starting 15th. Keep an eye on the 54. Again, has some road racing abilities here. Should be able to work his way up to a better finishing position than where he gets to start tonight. Starting 16th goes to the 57 of Kevin Grettenberger. Joe Tucker, another Lone Star Racing entry, starts 17th in the number 13. Jarrett Woodard out of Canada will start 18th, with Jesse Redding, the number 21, starting 19th. And Billy Martin, the number 25 Hagrid Racing Machine, starts 20th. Your starting grid here from Sonoma Raceway. One full pace lap, formation lap, however you want to categorize it, before we go to the green flag for 58 laps here at Sonoma. Zach Millett has dropped to the rear. So that's going to effectively give PJ Cox the number 1 starting position. Now, it's kind of a catch-22 here. If you look at the track map, which will get pulled up here in just a moment, up on your upper right, you see the red line, the vertical line, on the track. That indicates start-finish, and we go clockwise here at Sonoma. So that first quick left-hander, technically turn 1, and then up into essentially turn 2. Now, the pole sitter would get the preferred inside lane for turn 1, but you're very quickly going to go to a right-hander, a hard right-hander that's kind of very important to kind of have the best setup for it. So it could kind of go either way to Sean Roberts or PJ Cox. Again, Roberts now, he slides up a spot because Millett had to go to the rear. He's going to have the preferred starting position for the left-hander into 1, but Roberts will have the preferred setup into turn 2. So interesting to see how this one's going to play out. Pace car is off, getting ready to go to the green flag.
Green flag.
Field off into turn number 1. The 05 of Cox gets the lead up the hill. Roberts tucks in behind. PJ Cox still comfortably out front, waiting for tire pressures to come up, heat to get into these Goodyear Racing Eagles, very important. Low pressures, these trucks are a major handful, but the other side of the coin is as these tires do wear, the fall off is pretty significant. You're going to lose 3, maybe even 4 seconds a lap just with tire wear. Trouble for Bill Molfeld. This is coming out of turn 10. Gets it gathered back up and continuing on. Meanwhile, Zach Millett already up through half the field. Went from last to 10th before he gets back to the line. David Ballard slides back a spot. Millett trying to make short work of Kevin Blue here, but Kevin's good on road courses too. Real loose is the 315. You're going to get that left rear awful hot doing that. Cody Anderson says, hi, Steve. What's going on, Cody? Thanks for joining us, sir. Millett up to P9. Meanwhile, PJ Cox still out in front. Then it's Sean Roberts. Brian Rose up to P3. He's made short work of Matt Sisler. Looks like Brian picked the wrong truck tonight. Oh, real loose through the hairpin. Gathers it back up. Stays out of the wall. Continues on. You see how difficult it is to put the power down. Sisler closing into the back bumper. Gets alongside. Up the hill, into turn 2. Rose keeps the position. Again, real loose under power, trying to get out of the corner. Drew Blaze down into turn 5. One truck of Drew Blaze now coming down into the S's complex. This is going to be essentially turn 7, 8 into 9. And then the final corner, the right-hander, turn 10. We'll set him up for the short shoot run down to the hairpin, turn 11. Oh, Brian Rose in a wall. Brian Rose a little bit wide at the start-finish line, puts the right side into the concrete barrier. Real loose top of the hill once again. Can't get away with that too long. Brian's got to be careful here. He's going to burn the tires off that thing real early on. There's really no place to hide. Once you get these things heated up, you can't really cool them off. You really need to shed a ton of pace to do that. Problem just gets worse and worse. Loose again now off turn 5. Back out front, PJ Cox continues to lead here. We're on lap 4. Sean Roberts is closed in. Less than a truck length between the two of them. PJ Cox really excelling out of turn 10. Able to put a little gap between himself and Roberts. It's just over a second. Both Cox and Roberts put down some solid early laps. Minute 1978 for PJ Cox, a minute 1980 for Sean Roberts. Only drivers in that bracket thus far, except for Zach Millett, an 1895. Fastest truck on the racetrack, up to P6 already. Millett knew he had to get through the field in a hurry here. Didn't want to get caught up in any of the minutia or potential incidents to some inexperienced road racers back there in the field. Again, this league primarily runs ovals. Occasionally you'll throw in a road course or two. There is a dedicated road racing league within Lonestar Racing, as we talked about, that is run by Kevin Blue, and they are tonight's sponsor, of course. Oh no, and speaking of Kevin Blue, he got kicked for internet issues. We did see that in qualifying, lost connection. Tough break. Again, Kevin, I'm sure, was looking forward to this one being the primary sponsor for it. And it just straight up being a road course. Tough break, Kevin. Matt Sisler in trouble. We had problems in the hairpin. Let's take a look. Trying to get to Brian Rose. Brian Rose real loose off 10. Loses connection too. This might be what precipitated this. Big connection loss for Brian Rose. Again, Brian is traveling right now, so he's got all his stuff in a foreign place right now. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. Sisler unable to anticipate where the 89 was going to land. Meanwhile, up front, PJ Cox still out in front of the 66 of Roberts. Don't know if Sean is just kind of happy to ride in the tire tracks of Cox right now. Maybe not trying to put too much pressure on the 05. Or maybe Roberts thinks he's burning up his stuff a little bit sooner than anticipated. Let him do just that, and he'll come right back to him. Justin Johnson showing some damage, was involved in an incident as well. Let's see what happened here with the 10. Crosses the stripe here, coming into the left-hand turn 1. It's kind of a very long, sweeping left-hander up the hill into a hard braking zone. It's a very difficult complex, essentially, to get right. Comes up on Grettenberger here, and just goes wide, sends it through the sand this time of year. Crosses in front of the 57, and they make contact. Continues on, though. Justin's still in the 13th position, still on the lead lap. Meanwhile, Zach Millett has cracked the top 5, is breathing down the neck of Brian Rose. Closing in on Billy Martin here to put him a lap down. Connection loss again for Brian Rose. You can see how sketchy that can be as the trailing driver. We saw it with Matt Sisler, I believe it was. Yes, just a few laps ago with the 89. Just seeing it now with Zach Millett as well, where connection loss occurs and then trailing driver's got to figure out where he's going to land. Millett taking a look to the outside. Nothing doing there. Millett really trying to put the power down to make this move. Again, Brian Rose, he's no slouch on road courses. That is everyone's knowledge. Dirt tracking it through the S's, though. Loses connection again, though. This is going to be difficult for Millett. Oh, there he goes. Maybe some contact. Rose is going to crash. Rose, heavy contact. Crosses in front of Drew Blaze here. I don't know if Rose is going to go to the pits. Maybe he is. No, he avoids the pit lane here. Maybe the truck's okay, maybe not. He's got some pretty significant damage there. Let's go back and take a look at it. Again, he lost connection for a moment. Big impact into the tire barrier. Truck is definitely not going to be right after that. So Rose slips back to P5 here. He's still ahead of Drew Blaze. We'll have to see what kind of lap times Rose is able to throw down. Off turn 5 here once again. Meanwhile, Millett now up into the 3rd spot. Through this, though, we did miss a change for the lead. Sean Roberts has taken over P1. PJ Cox has slid back to P2. Don't know if there was a mistake made. Try and see if we can get that pass pulled up here. In fact, here it is. It was just a couple of laps ago. Both drivers a little loose off corner exit. Again, coming down the hill into the S's. PJ Cox, I don't know if he just let him go. Definitely did not seem very contested by the 05. Sean Roberts easily taking the top spot away from the 05. So Sean Roberts, your new leader here. He's been out front for just a few laps. Second place is PJ Cox. Zach Millett not terribly far behind, looming. He's got about 4.5 seconds before he catches the 66 of Roberts. He will have to make short work of the 05 PJ Cox to move up towards and challenge for the lead. But again, don't forget, Millett started tail of the field today. 10 laps in. He's up to 3rd spot. Got 40 laps remaining here from Sonoma. We're going to jump out and get our first HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way. We'll be back after this.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, and Mike Fahey in trouble into the hairpin just as we cut away. Now I got to find him. There we go. He's back underway. Brian Rose looks to be involved in that one as well. Again, we saw Brian slip in the rear tires a lot through most of these corner exits. It's just going to get him hot, and unfortunately, that problem just gets worse. It's very hard to keep that truck straightened out. You see him really loose into turn one. Oh, and he wrecks hard. That's going to do it for Brian Rose. He's got a fast repair, but that one is beat up pretty bad. You see smoke pouring out from underneath the hood. He is just going to leave this one. So let's take a look and see exactly what happened. It looks like it kicked off maybe with Mike Fahey. We'll see what happens here with the 19. This is out of turn 10. You see Rose real loose again, just burning the rubber off those rear tires. Yeah, it looks like Fahey was just locking him up to try to avoid contact with the 89. Gathers it up and goes. But you see the 89 trying to get away here too. He's lighting up those rear tires. That's just getting him hotter as well. And you're going to see here going back down into turn number 1. That's where he gets crossed up and spins the truck again. So this is the latter half of this. Now, really, this is just all attributed to too much heat in those rear tires. You got to be super, super ginger on the throttle getting out of the corner, especially here, Southern California, well, Northern California for that matter. It's the hot season. As you can see, there's really no grass growing here, but got to take care of those rear tires, and it just didn't happen. So Millett out front now. He's taking the top spot from the 66 of Sean Roberts. Try and get a look and show you that replay. Millett gets to the inside through the hairpin and just pulls alongside of Roberts, gets the drive out of the corner. Roberts' a little connection issue too. Seems to be a common theme with a lot of drivers here tonight. Millett does have a little bit of right side damage on the side of that truck. That was the pass for the lead. Millett over Sean Roberts. Your top 5, though, Millett, Sean Roberts, P.J. Cox, Matt Sisler, Drew Blaze. That's the top 5. Then it's Mike Fahey, Chris Gones, Joe Tucker, David Ballard, Justin Johnson, the top 10. Matt Daniels is 11th. Jesse Redding, 12th. Bill Mulfeld, 13th. Grettenberger, 14th. Woodard, 15th. And then the 24, Billy Martin, is 16th. 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20. Drivers all out of the race. That's Brian Rose, Kevin Blue, Billy Martin, and Matt Minnick. Definitely a tough race for Brian Rose here tonight. Didn't get really any chance to put practice in. He was traveling with the family, had to bring the rig with him. It's not the first time he's done that. Gave it his best, but just didn't work out. This one was a tricky one. We heard it from Zach Millett, speaking with him pre-race, that it's going to be difficult. Chris Gones kind of echoed that sentiment. Tires get hot, it gets extremely difficult to drive. You see even Millett having trouble putting the power down. And that's really what bit Brian Rose. Got the rear tires too hot, couldn't get traction, couldn't put power down, and then as it got worse, wasn't able to get the car to, or truck in this case, to turn without losing the rear end, ultimately overcorrecting, putting him into the fence and out of this race. Millett with 5.3 seconds over Sean Roberts. Roberts in the Shenandoah Shine machine, familiar colors. TJ Cox running in the third spot. Started on the front row tonight. Good qualifying run for that Ford F-150. Led some laps early on, up until I think it was lap 7 where Sean Roberts took over the top spot. He led until recently when Zach Millett made the pass through the S's. Sorry, that was through the hairpin. Drew Blaze in pit lane, first driver to peel off for their first scheduled green flag stop of the night. Now, you look at tire fall off, we talked about it, could be 2 to 4 seconds of fall off. Fastest lap for Millett so far, it was an 18.95. His last lap was a 21.24. That is with a 1 minute in front of it. We are at a road course, not Bristol. So this is where Blaze could actually pull some strategy here, get some fresh rubber underneath that truck, make up some track position because of the fresh rubber. I'm not sure if it's going to drag Zach Millett down from the lead or not. Again, no cautions here at the road course. It's just local yellows only, so you don't have to worry about any of that. Now, these drivers do, I believe, only have 2 sets of tires over the wall at their discretion. So this would be the first set, of course, changed by Drew Blaze. Now, did Blaze get a pit speed penalty here? He's been in the box here for about 40 seconds. We'll see if he gets released here in the next 5 seconds. If that's the case, likely a 40-second pit road speeding penalty for the one. No, he is still there. Not sure what's going on with Drew Blaze, but he's parked in the pit lane. He's having a solid run, at least a consistent run up in the top 10. Have to follow up on that later on. Drew Blaze been in the pit box for over 1 minute and 20. That's a full lap right now. He's been sitting there. No work being performed on that machine. So the attempt at the undercut not being paid off. Drew Blaze having some sort of an issue. Not quite sure what it was at this point. Kevin Blue can look into that, possibly, if he's still watching. Find out what's going on with Drew Blaze. Kind of be my pit reporter here. Justin Johnson now coming to pit lane. And Justin Johnson exits the session as well, so Justin Johnson calling it a night. Currently the top 6 trucks to the lead lap machines in the field. Millett, Roberts, and Cox. Then it's Sisler, Fahey, and Gones. Then you've got the 5 of Matt Daniels, David Ballard, Joe Tucker, Bill Mulfeld. That's the top 10. Jesse Redding, Kevin Grettenberger to 12th. And then we go to 2 laps down. We've got the 79 of Jarrett Woodard. Drew Blaze and Justin Johnson still listed as in pit lane, but it appears that at least Justin has left the session. Blaze still sits in pit lane. Again, I don't know what the situation there. He's been there for over 3 minutes. Following some other battles through the field, Mike Fahey in the 5th position, Chris Gones giving chase. Billy Martin slow to the inside. Chris Gowen's going to take the spot from Fahey, move him up to the 5th spot. Fahey slides back to P6. It almost seems that Fahey just gave him that position without a challenge. Fahey having a solid run, though, up in P6. Last truck on the lead lap currently. Again, really road racing. A lot of these guys, it's not their forte. They run ovals mostly. Again, that's what this league is set up for. It's just like the regular NASCAR season. There's mostly ovals. You get a handful of road courses, even I think 6, I think, in the Cup side, 8 over in Xfinity. But they do run a couple here in Lonestar Racing. Kind of keep things interesting. Sean Roberts real loose off turn 5. Joe Tucker's going to take advantage. Now Roberts still technically running in the 2nd spot. Joe Tucker 9th. 1 lap down. Matt Daniels having a solid run so far in the 7th position. Daniels sporting a throwback Mountain Dew paint scheme. That's a pretty good looking one. A little bit of damage to the 5, but either way, continues on. Still in the top 10. That battle with him is between himself, Ballard, and Joe Tucker. Billy Martin again, slow to the outside. PJ Cox says he's been crashed here. Yes, he is in trouble. The 05 is around. Doesn't look like there's so much damage on that machine, but he's going to yield the position to Matt Sisler. Sisler now up to P3. Let's get a look, see what happened to the 05. Joe Tucker looking to the inside. Again, Tucker not a lead lap truck. Don't see any contact there. Looks like PJ just got on the throttle a little too hot and heavy on exit, and around it went. No contact from the nose of the 13, but Tucker does go on by. Continues his march towards the front. Again, Tucker not on the lead lap currently. Millet has stretched his advantage out over Sean Roberts to almost 20 full seconds. Just an afternoon drive for the 315 right now. Interestingly enough, last lap for Zach Millet, 1:20 and some change. Still not taking any fresh tires or pit service. Got a car sideways up ahead of the leaders. That's Mike Fahey. Millet goes along by. No issues there. No contact made. Fahey still runs in the 6th position now, 1 lap down. So the top 5 of the lead lap trucks. Chris Gowen's next on the hit list to be relegated to -1 lap. Oh, Fahey around again in the hairpin. Being very cautious not to pull out in front of traffic. Does rejoin the race. Again, we talked about it quite a few times here early on with Brian Rose. Overheating the rear tires, and that problem just multiplying itself lap after lap, and it seems to be affecting Mike Fahey very similarly. Jarrett Woodard has gone off track. Fahey's closing in again. Let's ride on board with Zach Millett here. Again, tires are worn on the 315 machine. Let's take a lap with him around the speedway here and see what he is doing to combat that very loose handling race truck. Looks like Jesse Redding having an issue getting into turn 5. Millett through 6 and 7 into the S's. I mean, if you listen closely to the engine sounds of this machine, I don't think Millett's getting fourth gear at all at any point throughout the lap right now. It's really only this portion of the track you hear this much engine speed out of that truck. Very ginger on the throttle throughout the lap. Even when it's perfectly straight, he's not mashing the gas to get out of the corner. You really got to be careful. And then back down into turn 5 as he closes in on Chris Goins. So Chris Goins in the 5th position. He's got leader Zach Millett to the back bumper, getting ready to put him down on a lap. That'll leave us with 4 trucks currently on the lead lap. So Millett still with a 27-plus second advantage over the 66 of Sean Roberts. I got to commend the 66 of Roberts. He's doing a good job at trying to keep pace. I know he's about a full, almost a third of a lap behind right now, but still having a solid run. Jonathan Arn in the stream chat, checking on Mike Fahey. Well, he was having a solid run. He was up in the top 10. He still is in the top 10, running 9th. But the back tires on that truck not cooperating anymore, as most drivers really having similar issues with it. Trying to put the power down a little bit too soon, a little too heavy, getting the rear tire heated up. He's been around sideways a bunch of times, but he's gathered it back up most times. Gotten back out there and continued his drive, having a solid run here again, still in the top 10. As it is, it's a runaway for Zach Millett right now. Only the top four trucks on the lead lap at the moment. Again, no cautions to speak of, just local yellows only, so that contributes to it, especially when you throw green flag stops into the mix. With that said, Zach Millett still has yet to hit pit lane. He's going to have to do so momentarily. With that, we're going to jump out of the way here. Go side by side once again, so you won't miss a minute of the action. And we'll be back after this.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sonoma Raceway, the Lonestar Racing Truck Series, Road Rage 115. Haven't really seen a whole lot of road rage tonight, but we have seen Zach Millett just checking out, putting on a clinic here, a road racing clinic, so to speak. I think it's a Skip Barber Racing School out here. 34 seconds the advantage over the 66 of Sean Roberts, and then 41 seconds back to Matt Sisler. PJ Cox started outside front row. He is fourth, about 59 seconds in the rears. Millett, though, been out on the racetrack here for 31 laps. He will need to make at least one pit stop before this one is over. Millett bypasses pit lane once again. Closing in on the 90, David Ballard. Ballard having a solid run here, though. He's up in the top 10 still. Again, a lap down, but that's all right. There's more races to be had here, more racing to be had. Just because you're not on the lead lap, okay, maybe you're not battling for the win anymore, but there are positions to be made up. Fahey has done just that. He was 9th just a few laps ago. Now he's up into P7. Chris Goins down pit lane. Number 28 Auto Nation Toyota Tundra. Four tires and fuel for Chris Goins. This will be his only stop of the day. He's down and away. Jesse Redding as well. Right side's on. Crew goes around to the left. So again, 4 tires and fuel for the Chevy Silverado and Jesse Redding. Zach Millett finally peels off the racetrack from the lead. Attention of his pit crew. This could be, I don't know. I mean, he could probably get away with fuel only. Not that he needs to, but he's got a 35-second advantage even now as he approaches his pit stall. I'm sure he wants to bolt on 4 fresh Goodyear Racing Eagles to make that truck handle a little bit better, but even his last lap was a minute 21:26, and that was after 32 laps under the green flag. Very impressive lap time with very worn tires. Millett a clean stop, down and away, 14.87 seconds. Sean Roberts also in the pits for his first stop of the day. Kevin Blue says, I think Roberts is going to get the win here. Millett's going to lose it coming out of the pits. We'll see. He's out of the pits now. Millett top of the hill. Turn 4 down into 5. Now Roberts leaves pit lane. Pit work complete. Really fast stop for Sean Roberts, 14.42 seconds. Got to be one of the fastest stops we've seen all season. Matt Sisler leaving the box as well. TJ Cox made his pit work lap 31. All these drivers made their stops in under 15 seconds. Very impressive. 4 tires and fuel for the trucks. Jonathan Arndt says, do you have the pit crew off? I'm not sure what you're referring to be honest. Frankly, the only time I ever see the pit crew is when it's my own. Every other time it's not there. I've got every setting in my graphics turned on and wide open, so I've never actually seen the pit crew in a broadcast. Unless they change something, that would be pretty cool. I've been complaining about that for, well, since I started doing this, that they don't show the pit guys. Kevin Blue says Fahey's going to come from behind and take the checkers. Well, he's going to take the checkers eventually, as long as he keeps the truck in one piece. I just don't think he's going to be the first one to do it. Fahey, though, got to give him a pat on the back here so far. We are, again, 25 laps to go. Fahey running in the 7th spot. He's made his final stop of the day, I believe. That was at lap 24. He certainly has enough to go to the end. Maybe he opts for some tires. Who knows? And Jonathan Arndt, I didn't know. Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, maybe there was an update today. Maybe I didn't even see it. I really hope that that's the case. That would be cool. It would be tasking to the GPUs to add pit crews for all, well, in this case, 20 trucks tonight. But I don't know. It would be nice to see. With those new 40 series cards out there, I'm sure it's possible. I'm running a 3090 Ti, and I'm sure it's possible with mine as well. It might be a little bit of a frame rate loss, but we can probably make it work. I'll have to check it post-race. Got me curious now. Let's ride on board with Mike Fahey and see how he gets around Sonoma here as he works his way through the S's. Fahey out of the hairpin. Second to last corner. This quick flick to the left here coming to the line. Got a little counter steer into it. Meanwhile, Zach Millett just runs his fastest lap of the day, a minute 18.41. I got to admit, so far, riding on board with Mike Fahey here at the road course, he may not be the fastest guy out there, but he's up to P6, and he's certainly very smooth. Fahey's getting all he can out of that truck right now. He's not abusing it, but he's getting all the lap time that he's capable of at the moment. Very impressive. Truck still looks pretty good. He's kept it out of trouble. A couple of spins here and there, but nothing crazy. Yeah, Jonathan Arndt, I mean, I don't see him either. The only time I ever see my pit crew is if I'm in the truck myself, actually racing, but I don't see everybody else's pit crew, just my own. So, I don't know. I'll have to check post-race and see if there's a new option to turn them all on during the replay. That would be ideal. Kevin Blue. Millett drives with the driving line on 100%. The driving assists were turned off for this race. 22 laps to go. Millett still your leader. 43 seconds the advantage over Sean Roberts. And it's 57 seconds back to Matt Sisler. PJ Cox runs in the 4th spot. He is about 7 seconds shy of being put a lap down by Millett. Again, Cox started on the front row here today. Had a good lap in qualifying. Put it outside pole. It's the fastest driver aside from Zach Millett. Again, inherited that top spot. Really just with Millett having to go to the back. The win penalty. Taking a look at Chris Goins. Not on the lead lap presently, but that's okay. Most of the drivers are not. But Goins running solidly in the top 10 in the position number 7. All right, Kevin, I'm checking again. Oh, they did turn them on last minute. Okay. When I checked before the race, they were off. Last minute changes again. PJ Cox in pit lane. This is his second stop of the day. I don't know if he's just trying to gamble here with 21 laps to go. 15.18 seconds for the 05 Monster Energy F-150. Interesting strategy here. He actually comes back out. Now he's a lap down, but he's going to be the first truck a lap down, which isn't really that big of a deal. Again, we don't have cautions turned on. Oh, cold tires, though. Cox slides off the racetrack. Just not sure what PJ has to gain here by making that stop. Again, he's a lap down. It's about 20 seconds behind Sisler. Sisler pit at lap 32. So I don't know, maybe he could catch Sisler and turn this into a top 3. There's a possibility there. Mill it down into the hairpin once again, coming to 19 laps to go. I want to kind of pay attention to this battle here with PJ Cox in the 05. He's got some time to catch the 93 of Matt Sisler. Of course, he does need to dispose of Joe Tucker here to move his way on through. But PJ, with fresh rubber underneath that truck, has an opportunity to close down the gap between himself and the 93. See if Joe Tucker lets him by. Oh, contact. He was there. Tucker comes back across the nose of the 05. And Tucker running 9th, 2 laps down. PJ Cox 4th, 1 lap down. Tucker's not careful. He's going to get moved, and there it happens. PJ Cox spins in front of Tucker, and they collide. We called it the Road Rage 115, and that's what's happening. PJ Cox now with fresh rubber, but a damaged race truck. Things may equalize in that department. Joe Tucker entering pit lane here. Don't know if this is just calling it a day with frustration or if he's got some repairs that really need to be made here. There was a bit of an impact there with himself and PJ Cox. Tucker sitting there a little longer than we anticipated here. It's at 40 seconds. This could be damage repair or a speeding penalty or just frustration. We'll see here in a moment. If it was related to pit road speed, he should be released here in just a second or two. He is not, so likely repairs being made to that number 13 machine. You know, we were talking to Joe Tucker recently, and you know, he said it out loud. He's, you know, I'm not obligated to get out of your way. If you're faster than me, that's one thing. Then find a way around. And there's some truth to that. You don't owe the guy behind you that position, but you kind of got to look at it two different ways. In this case, it's cost Joe pretty significantly. You had a guy with fresh tires who's a lap ahead of you, trying to get their way on by. Had a nose alongside. Tucker came up and there was some more contact made, and then it got worse through the S's. Ultimately, both drivers really got the short end of the sticks on that one as PJ Cox got the truck over into the sand, got crossed up in front of Joe Tucker, and then they made contact again. Both trucks sustaining damage, but Tucker getting the worst end of it, it seems, as he still sits on pit lane. Sean Roberts 52 seconds behind Zach Millett here with 16 laps to go. Looks like PJ Cox may have gone off track once again. Let's take a look at it. Just gets turned in a little too soon, jumps the curb, gets the truck over in the sand again. PJ's just trying to put more than he's got into that truck right now. Again, the damage to the left side of the 05 certainly not helping. Yes, he does have fresher tires, but at this point, I don't think it's going to work out for him. Current top three, Millett, Roberts, and Sisler. You can hear it. PJ putting the power down hard. Rear tire is just not wanting to cooperate. Matt Daniels currently running in the 5th position. That battle between himself, I think, and Mike Fahey. Fahey's actually 2 laps down, so Matt Daniels the last truck on the 1 lap down lap. Sean Roberts trying to make short work of him. Daniels runs a little wide. Roberts takes the track position away. Mike Fahey still having a solid run here. It's not going to be a win. It could be a top 5, though, if he plays his cards right. But he does have Chris Goins knocking on the tailgate of that F-150. That would be for position. Fahey runs 6th, Goins runs 7th, and David Ballard there also for position. Takes a look to the inside on Chris Goins. Ballard may have the spot. He does. Move Ballard up to P7. Ballard with that familiar Farmington Fire Rescue paint scheme on that F-150. Coming to the stripe here. They got 13 laps remaining. This is a battle for position between Ballard and Goins. They did pit on similar laps. Ballard at lap 28, Goins lap 30. Both drivers taking 4 tires. This really just might be a matter of who saved what the longest. I don't mean fuel, I mean tire-wise. Goins runs a little wide, top of 4. Fahey was worried about Chris Goins, but now he's got to worry about David Ballard. Fahey, however, he pit at lap 24, so a 4-lap differential between tire strategies, between the 19 and the 90. That will make a big difference. We saw follow-up as Chris Goins in trouble. Gets crossed up into the sand again, keeps it off the wall. He's going to lose a ton of track position. Continue to watch this battle for position. Fahey doing a good job holding off the 90 here. Able to put the power down out of the hairpin through the front stretch. Now up turn 1 into turn 2. Truck length, maybe a truck length and a half between the 19 and the 90, but Ballard gains a ton of ground on corner exit there as they go down the hill into turn 5. Little wheel hop out of Mike Fahey. Ballard looks to the outside, trying to avoid contact. Fahey almost loops the truck. Ballard taking a peek now to the right side. Don't know if he can pull this off into turn 1. He has to clear him to make it work. Fahey real loose, almost contact made at the stripe. Fahey has the position up the hill. The 19 maintains the spot. Ballard all over the back bumper of the 19 of Mike Fahey. Again, this is for position 6. Fahey has it. Ballard wants it bad. Down into turn 6, under the braking zone. Ballard has to tuck back in behind. No banking in these corners here, nice and flat. Again, that's so difficult to put the power down while you're turning the wheel. Fahey stretches it out through the S's. Seems to be where he is faster than the 90, but loose off turn 10. Down into the hairpin again. This is where he struggled the lap ago. No pressure out the back window. Oh, he gets power down and loses the truck again. Doesn't go all the way around, but Ballard has the better exit. He's going to gain some ground. Luckily, Fahey was so much faster through the S's that didn't hurt him too bad. But still 10 laps to go. Fahey's still got work cut out for him to stay ahead of the 90. Ballard may have heated up his stuff a little too much as well, unable to complete the pass on Mike Fahey. Fahey gets out of turn 6 so much better than David Ballard. He's able to carry that exit speed all the way down through the S's. It's almost like getting out of a corner faster than the guy behind you on a straightaway. Granted, this is definitely not a straightaway, but you still carry a lot more speed through that left-right complex. Really impressed with Mike Fahey here, again, into the hairpin. It's been his Achilles heel most of the day, but he's making it work. David Ballard in trouble in the hairpin. We heard the tires screeching and the RPM sky high. Ballard overcooks it going into 11. Let's take a look at it, see what happened to David Ballard as he was trying to reel back in the 19 of Mike Fahey. Down the short straight, down into the hairpin, gets on the brakes. Does he lock up the rears? Yeah, it looks like it. Definitely not on the throttle at that point in the corner, but rear tires still getting hot. Maybe a little too much rear brake dialed into that truck, and around it goes. That tends to be what happens. It's the game you got to play. It's hit and miss here. You either put too much rear brake in it and it comes around, or not enough and it doesn't stop fast enough. Got to kind of find that sweet spot. And you do need to adjust it throughout the run, especially here at Sonoma where the tires wear out so quickly. Got to stay on top of it. Could be a lap the single lap, every lap adjustment that you're making throughout the course of the run. So Fahey maintains the 6th position. First truck on 2 laps down. So really doesn't have anything to gain going forward. He just wants to maintain that position. So far, so good. He's got Jarrett Woodard behind him, but Woodard 6 laps down in the 12th spot. Back up front, Zach Millett continues to lead. We've got 8 laps to go. Closing in on Matt Sisler. He's lapped all the way up to P3. Sisler would be that 3rd place machine. About to go another lap down, or it's only lap down. Managed to stay out in front for the majority of this race, but we're coming to 7 laps to go. Zach Millett just in his own zip code. Hear how easy it is to just over rev that engine because you put the power down just a hair too soon, and all of a sudden those rear tires do not want to cooperate. Millett is there, about to put Sisler a lap down. They're through the hairpin. Real loose on exit. Sisler trying everything he's got to keep that truck ahead of Millett. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it. Might have gotten the wall there, maybe not, but cannot avoid losing that lap. So now Zach Millett and Sean Roberts both together on a lap of their own. The rest of the field 1 lap or more down. 6 laps to go. I don't think Millett is going to catch Roberts here in time to put him a lap down and lap the entire field. Matt Sisler taking an opportunity to hit pit lane here. This is coming to 5 laps to go. Not sure if this is a strategy to try and maintain his position ahead of PJ Cox or what the plan is. Again, Cox and Sisler now on the same lap. Remember, PJ pit a while back. Didn't have to, but opted for fresh rubber. Might as well come down and take it. Then you remember PJ getting involved with an incident with Joe Tucker. Sustained some damage to the truck, so he's not quite at the pace that he once was. Sisler down and away. Finishes up his pit work. Sisler just out of turn 10. Sorry, PJ Cox out of turn 10. So this might actually work out well for Sisler, at least as far as maintaining that 3rd position. Sisler at the top of the hill right now, going down into turn number 5. PJ Cox just coming up the hill into turn 2, so he's got plenty of gap between himself and PJ Cox. I think Sisler's going to have this one in the bag here, at least as far as P3 is concerned, as long as he can keep it out of the wall, out of the sand. Very interesting thing about Sonoma Raceway here is you see that there's all this dead grass and sand lining this racetrack in Sonoma, California, but in the rainy season, it's all green grass. I don't know if you've seen pictures of it. It's almost kind of confusing when you look at it because we're so used to seeing the race trucks or the race cars run around here when there is no grass to speak of. So PJ Cox is 22 seconds in the rearview mirror from Matt Sisler. So again, Sisler just really needs to run out the rest of these laps. He's got fresh rubber underneath the truck. Should be easy sailing to finish this one out with a top 3. Millett again still out in front. Sean Roberts P2, a full minute and 8 seconds behind the leader Zach Millett. Again, Millett closer to the back bumper of Roberts than Roberts is to the back bumper of Millett. Three laps to go. I don't think Millett's going to catch Roberts fast enough to complete lapping the whole field. I'm sure he's probably going to try. It's kind of a pride thing if you're a racer. If you're fast enough to go out and lap the whole field, you want to try and do it if it's possible. It just doesn't happen all that often. As you see, an uncharacteristic mistake out of Millett there. Gets the right side of the truck hard on the curb. Keeps it going straight. Chris Goins the next to go another lap down. He's currently 2 laps down, running in the 8th position. Millett laying rubber off turn 10. Kevin Grettenberger and Bill Martin involved in an incident. Seems that they did not have anything to do with each other, I don't believe. Let's look at this one here with Billy Martin. Again, this is rolling through, looks like turn 9. This could be turn 10. Yeah. So down into the hairpin for Billy Martin, the number 24 machine. Just coming to a stop here to avoid contact with the 57. Zach Millett crosses the stripe here. White flag waves. Final time around here from Sonoma Raceway. It's been a dominating performance for Zach Millett tonight. Millett, of course, took the pole position in qualifying, but still had to report to the back of the field for the race to start. It's courtesy of the win penalties that the league dishes out to the drivers that consistently come out and win these races to try and even things up. But unfortunately for the rest of the field, Zach Millett just so fast here at the road course, able to drive his way through the field. I think he was up to mid-pack after the first lap or two. And very quickly made short work of the rest of the field, getting back to the top spot. Millett now rolling through the S's for the final time. Sweeping left-hand turn 9, quick right turn number 10. Down the short straight into the hairpin for one more hard right-hander. And the last left-hander. Checkered flag waves for Zach Millett. He wins the Road Rage 115 from Sonoma Raceway. John Roberts maintains the second position, stayed on the lead lap. Again, almost a full lap down. Working his way into turn number 5. John Roberts down into the hairpin for his final time. Gently exits turn 11. Quick left-hander and then a checkered flag. Zach Millett, your race winner. Again, we got Billy Martin parked on the start-finish line. I still don't know why. Zach Millett victorious. We're going to step aside here, get one more break out of the way, and we'll be back hopefully with our top 3 finishers after this. Stay with us.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Sonoma Raceway, the Lonestar Racing Truck Series Road Rage 115 is finally complete. It was a long one. It was a tough one, but Zach Millett persevered, started from the tail, went from worst to first, took the checkered flag here tonight. Let's see if we can pull Zach into the broadcast booth for our In the Draft feature winner. Zach Millett, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got us?
Hey, Steve. How's it going, man?
It's going well, sir. It was it's a tough one to call from up here in the booth, not because of the race itself, but for obvious reasons. But tell us about your race. You put the truck on the pole position, got that thing done with a blistering lap. I think it was a second and a half faster than anybody else out there, but you had to drop to the tail, wind penalties being what they were. You had to start from the rear, and within a lap or two, you were mid-pack. Walk us through what it took to get through all of those trucks so quickly and then get out front and keep it there for the balance of the race.
You know, we wanted to come in and basically maximize our points night. We were coming in second in the points, and being the last road course race of the season, it's really my best chance to, maximize it, do the best we can. I know Drew was really strong in the last two races, so had to get what we had to get tonight. Qualifying went pretty well. We had to get the pole, get the points for that. Did pretty close to our fastest lap. The race was kind of perfect for us. I didn't want to rush up through there, make a mistake, get into somebody. Everybody in this league always races so clean. So, as long as you can hold your line and make good choices, you're going to do okay. So I'm glad it worked out.
Well, again, it was impressive to watch. You put on a clinic out here. I got to ask, what makes you so good on these road courses? You're fast just about everywhere we go, but on road courses, it's a completely different ball game. I can't keep up with you. I hate to say I'm pretty quick, too. They're certainly faster like yourself, but what's the secret?
I don't know. I think I just like the, the stock cars around road courses. They're just kind of, I don't know, they're just right for me. I don't know. I just used to sliding them around all over the place, because I know when I'm racing with you on road courses and other cars like radicals, you're usually smoking me. So it's fun to jump in these things, because they're so hard to get around these places. That's the fun of it,
So you talk about sliding the truck around, and we did see a lot of that happening tonight. Not so much with you, but just as an example, we saw Brian Rose. He was unable to really keep the power down. He got the rear tires heated up early, and ultimately it bit him. We saw Mike Fahey run into that early on, where getting the throttle down a little bit too soon on exit. You had mentioned it pre-race. You get too much heat in the tire too early, it's almost impossible to cool them down. How was the strategy on your end? What do you do to not do that? I know the temptation to just hammer down and go is always there, but you got to take care of the truck, and you did a good job of that tonight.
Yeah, it was funny when I was behind Brian. I really thought to mic up and tell him what I was doing to try to keep the truck underneath me, because it looked like he was drifting pretty good. And I realized that his mic wasn't working, which, I knew all night. I just forgot. But, I did a couple different stints in practice right before the race, and they were about 25 laps each or so. And the first stint, I just absolutely sent it. I went right down to first and second gear on every exit and just absolutely lit the tires up and tried to make pace. But I'd say about 9 laps in, the rear tires were just done. And it affects everything. Your entry, your apex, your exit is just awful to drive. So the second stint, I stayed in third on most exits. If I had to go down to second, I was about half or maybe even a quarter throttle. It really made a difference. I could keep lap time for past 20 laps or so. And if I didn't do that practice, I would have been out there probably in the wall.
Well, either way, you didn't get it in the wall. There's a little bit of right side damage on that truck. Any idea what that had come from?
Yeah, it was just the start. Taking the EOL, and we're trying to decide if Billy Martin was gonna get a EOL right before the start or not. So I kind of slowed down to a stop just to make sure that he went across the line before I did, just in case. And then when I went to go past him, it was kind of in the tough spot right past the line, and I barely just scuffed him. Luckily, it didn't bend anything. That would have made things very interesting.
Well, nonetheless, you still brought that truck home in that P1 position here to close it out. Another checkered flag for Zach Millett, man. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
We're going to let you get out of here. We're going to pull second and third place. Let's see, Sean Roberts and Matt Sisler up here. Before we do, though, who do you want to shout out to?
I'd like to thank you, Steve, and HBR TV for the broadcast as always. LSR, it's always a great league to race in. A lot of great guys in this league. It's sad that the season's coming to an end already. Track Bar Media, and shoot me a follow on Twitch and YouTube at that S4 guy.
All right, Zach, again, congratulations, man. Good luck next week.
Thanks, man.
Zach Millett, your race winner here from Sonoma. Next, we're going to pull Sean Roberts into the broadcast booth. Driver of the number 66 Shenandoah Shine. Sean Roberts and Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got us?
Got you loud and clear, Steve. Hope you're doing well.
I'm surviving. It's all we can really do at this point in the game. But
Yeah.
second place survival for yourself here. The only two trucks on the lead lap, yourself and Millett. Of course, Zach in a whole nother zip code. Tell us about your race, man. You put on a good show, started good with a decent qualifying run, and brought it home P2. Tell us about it.
A lot of it was just trying to manage the rear tires. I mean, especially later in the run, coming into that hairpin or the right-hander for the short chute, I was getting a lot of wheel hop and just trying to manage that wheel hop, keep it from trying to turn hands on me. That was the big thing. And then, of course, trying to keep the wheel spin under control as well. I think a lot of guys appear to have trouble with the wheel spin.
Well, we saw it even with Zach Millett. I mean, he got around here quickly, but just about every time we watched him, the truck was sideways. He was laying a patch of rubber out of a corner, and you do it too much, get too much heat in the rear tires, and it's just almost impossible to correct it. You can't cool them down, and then you got to deal with it. And you guys did a pretty good job managing that here to finish here in the second spot.
Yeah, that's definitely the key. I think that was the key for doing well, was tire management for a track like this, and not getting stuffed by another driver trying to stay out of your way.
Well, last road course of the season. Next week we go back on the oval. Season coming to its conclusion here. What are your thoughts going into next week?
I actually don't know if I have any experience at Iowa. Maybe. I don't know if we ran it in the Cup Series last year. But I'm looking forward to the Daytona. That's going to be a fun one as long as I don't get wrecked.
Yeah, in my experience, Iowa kind of races a lot like Richmond, just bigger.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well,
so
Sean,
then that sounds like some throttle management as well.
Yeah, not as much as this place for sure, but
yeah,
it'll be interesting to watch. Sean, again, congratulations on P2. Good luck next week at Iowa. We'll let you slide here. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Just to thank Shenandoah Shine and K Designs for letting me, have them on the side of the truck, and K Designs for setting up this nice livery for me.
All right, Sean. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Once again, good luck next week at Iowa.
All right, see you next week, Steve. Feel better.
Thank you. Well, Sean Roberts, your second place finisher. Next, we're going to pull Matt Sisler up into the broadcast booth, our third place finisher. Matt, it's Steve in the booth. You got us?
Yes, Steve, I got you. How are you?
Doing well, sir. Congratulations on a P3 finish. I know you were struggling hard to keep that thing on the lead lap. It just wasn't meant to be, but either way, man, a solid top three finish here at Sonoma. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, I mean, Sonoma's a beast, and it's a completely different animal to Watkins Glen, and, qualifying up front was good. Brian Rose was just, I'll give him credit, because he was a pain to try to get by. He put the truck where I just couldn't get around him, and then, he vanished for a second under braking into the hairpin, and that's what got me a little out of shape. But, I mean, to bring the truck home P3 is solid, at the end of the race, Zach, I said with about 10 laps to go when I saw Zach with like about 7 seconds behind me, if he catches me, I'm coming in to get new boots, because we're playing for the title here. I'm not chasing the title, obviously, but we're playing for a championship position. I'd rather come in, get fresh tires, and get this thing home rather than stay out here and potentially end up in the tire barrier, because I believe you were the broadcaster for this. I have a bad habit of getting into tire barriers and costing myself positions in races.
Well, either way, you put a whole race together here, brought that truck home into the third spot. You looked good out there, solid, smooth. Obviously, you had your issues with Brian Rose there. Brian had his own sets of issues, just burning up the rear tires. That seems to be the common conversation here tonight. You get the rear tires too hot, and there's just no way to cool them down without maintaining position. Is that kind of what you experienced out there as far as a rear tire overheat was concerned?
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure, coming off, especially out of the hairpin, you get into the hairpin, and your instinct, being somebody from a road course background, where you have traction control and the car's meant to be on a course like this, your instincts to get on the power, and then as soon as you see, like, the exit is to just get on it. And I saw a lot of people, not, I did it too, where they'd go to put the power down and the back end would just want to spin towards that infield section inside the hairpin. So that was a problem. And the problem is you have to run rear brake here to get, decrease your stopping distance, make sure you can brake later. So you're really, the rear brakes, the rear tires, it's all being worn down, trying to hang on. But yeah, rear tires were a concern tonight, and that's really why I decided to bring it in with I think 6 or 7 laps to go, just to be sure. Okay, get the new boots on it, and let's bring this thing home. Just be calm, cool, and make sure she can finish on the podium.
Well, you had plenty of gap between yourself and PJ Cox to do that. It worked out in your favor. Didn't need to struggle for handling for those last handful of laps. So a nice call. Good job here finishing P3. We're going to jump out of here, but before we let you go, Matt, anyone you want to thank?
Of course, all the guys at Apex Tech, ATRS Racing, ATRS Esports, for putting together, these awesome paint designs for our truck. Same with Theo Schleray Designs, our paint designer. VPC, Pro Sim Rig, Precision Sim Engineering, Meridian, TPI, HD Anywhere. Why not just throw in Ford, pretend like it's a real race. Apex Tech Racing Supply, Apex Technologies US, our title sponsors, and then of course, as usual, Steve, you for doing what you do, providing awesome broadcasts and those awesome podium shots you always send us. It's always a pleasure to get those, and a pleasure to go back and watch the race afterwards. So thanks for doing what you do, man.
Happy to do it, Matt. Thanks for the kind words, man. Good luck next week at Iowa.
Appreciate it. You take care.
It's Matt Sisler, your third place finisher here from Sonoma Raceway. Let's take a look at our official race results here before we leave the broadcast and call it an evening. Of course, Zach Millett, Sean Roberts, Matt Sisler, your top 3. PJ Cox with an outside front row starting position, brought it home with the top 5 in the 4th spot. Matt Daniels was 5th. Mike Fahey, a solid run out of the 19. Again, 2 laps down, but again, to be expected with fast drivers like Zach Millett, Sean Roberts out there, it's going to happen. But again, a solid run, put the whole race together. A couple of incidents on track, but nothing severe. Great finish for the 19. David Ballard was the 7th place finisher. Thought he was going to get a P6 out of that, but shot himself in the foot a little bit going into the hairpin and got the truck spun sideways, gave up all that track position, was unable to reel Mike Fahey back in. So 7th place finish for David Ballard. Chris Goins finished in the 8th spot. Jesse Redding was 9th. Bill Molfeld was 10th. Kevin Grettenberger finished in the 11th position. 12th went to Jarrett Woodard. Joe Tucker, after some contact with PJ Cox, finished 13th. Bill Martin was 14th. Drew Blaze, 15th. Justin Johnson was 16th. And then out of the race, 17th was Brian Rose. Kevin Blue, 18th. 19th was Chad Martin. And Matt Minnick was 20th, 58 laps down. It's your race results here from Sonoma Raceway, the Lonestar Racing Truck Series Road Rage 115. And again, it was brought to you by the Lonestar Racing GT3 Series. Kevin Blue putting together a full road racing season coming up. That's going to start and kick off February the 6th. So keep your eyes peeled for details on that. Facebook, you can find it with the Lonestar Racing Facebook page, and really just about anywhere that ties into iRacing on Facebook. You should see posts by Kevin Blue on this coming up. If you're interested, reach out to him, find him in the Discord. You can even message me over here at HBRTV, facebook.com/HBRTV1 while you're messaging me. Like, share, subscribe, follow, turn on the notifications, all of the above. We certainly do appreciate that. The streams do occur on the YouTube side of things, so check us out there. It's youtube.com/@HBRTV and the number 1. You can follow us there to actually view the races, but again, also the stream links will typically be posted on Facebook, as well as post-race pictures and the occasional post throughout the week. Nothing significant, but those likes certainly do help. It does push this broadcast to a little bit wider of an audience that may or may not have seen it otherwise. So please, it does make a difference. Every time we go live, please just smash that like button. Help us move along here and get good to go. It's going to wrap it up for me here at HBR TV. Again, I'm Steve Singer, bringing you all this awesome racing action here from Sonoma tonight and going forward. I do appreciate everyone tuning in to the broadcast. Those of you in the stream chat, as always, I thank you for their participation. I'm going to go take some cold medicine and probably go to bed. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.